I'm very happy to welcome back promoter Steve Wraith. How are you, Steve?
I'm very good, yes. It's been a busy time since we last spoke, but yeah, nice to be back on the show, and thoroughly enjoyed listening to the other stuff that you've been doing over the last few months. But yeah, nice to be back.
Brilliant. Well, very nice of you to say so, Stephen. Well, yeah, as you say, a lot's been going on. Last time we spoke, it was like a real turning point, it seemed like, for boxing in the Northeast, with the Matchroom show, and you speaking about the Fight Pass thing. First of all, the show back in January, was it, or February? How did that go?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, basically working with the guys from Matchroom, it's the start of a new relationship. I mean, it was going to be interesting to see how things have worked. I'd worked with the Warrens in the past, so to be working with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom is like the flip side of the coin, really. And it was an easy transition. Nothing really changed with regard to the Fight Pass show. We all have to get on with doing what we do best, which is pull in the local fighters and just run the show that. Run the show the way that we would normally run it. We did that show at the Gateshead Leisure Centre, and it was a big success. Rising Stars was the name of the show, and we obviously covered it. We gave you the exclusive, I think, on the night that we were doing an offer to the amateur clubs where we gave them an opportunity to take full price tickets and keep 50% of the ticket price. And it was a great success. We had 200 tickets sold off the back of that. The amateur club made some really good money, and it gave us a younger audience, a new generation of boxing fans came to watch the show that night. And we didn't just have Rising Stars in the ring, but we had Rising Stars sitting watching. So that was great. It was a little bit of a test to see whether that kind of interaction between the pro game and the amateur game worked, and we passed with flying colours. So yeah, that show was great. It went very well. The TV coverage, the online TV coverage that we received from Matchroom Fight Pass was fantastic. The feedback that we had for the fight card that we put on, was very, very complimentary. And the beauty of it going out on the Fight Pass, of course, is that it's obviously streamed on Matchroom's Fight Pass channel, but they're promoting your company and promoting your show on Twitter and on Facebook. So we had some great feedback about the local fighters, and of course it gave the local fighters an opportunity to build up their name and their reputation. And I think that's the beauty of Fight Pass and what it brings. It gives those promoters like yourselves, the smaller, lesser known promoters, the opportunity to showcase their fighters on a national stage.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, I love Matchroom Fight Pass. I think it's great personally. I really enjoy tuning in, because you would have never have got anything like that before. No matter where you go.
Well, it is what it is, and I mean, the Box Nation, is obviously subscription channel, which is run by the Warrens, and that again, it's given a platform to fighters that maybe you don't see, on mainstream or on the bigger channels such as Sky. And any coverage of boxing is great for the sport. It doesn't matter whether it's online and on a live feed like Dave Caldwell chooses to use on his website, which again is great. Whether it's Fight Pass, whether it's Box Nation, or whether it's the big hitters on Sky. Any coverage is great for the boxing fan and the boxing purist. It's just it's great that there's a platform out there, and I think more and more now, I think that the fight game is going more in that direction, and people are beginning to realise that the more televisation of your shows, and the more that people get an opportunity to see your fighters from their armchair, it's going to build up support for various fighters, and that's always going to be a plus as well for sponsors when you're trying to attract a sponsor on board. If you can say that in some way, shape or form that your show is going to be televised, then it does give you that angle for a little bit more promo and a little bit more, you can maybe get a little bit more out of the sponsor if they're their logos are on the ring corner posts or on the canvas, or on one of those Toblerone signs at ringside. It's going to give them some more exposure as well, some nationwide or some more local exposure. That's going to be good. So it's a win-win situation for any promoter who gets televised shows.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Well, yeah, we're as fans, we're spoiled. There's Channel 5 are doing some more stuff. They've got the fight in Bristol next month. So there's endless things going on at the moment, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Hobson's got Spike TV, another TV channel interested in covering his show.
Really, that's really interesting
as well. So there's that many. Made in Time and Wear. There's the Made in channels, which are based in various cities. I think it's made in Bristol, made in Manchester, but Made in Time and Wear as well. They've covered our shows as well. So there's loads of different angles and loads of different ways of getting the sport out there, and as I say, that can only be good for the armchair boxing fan as well,
Definitely, mate. Definitely. Well, also you had another show. Well, actually, last time we spoke, we talked about fighters we should keep our eye on in the northeast. Jeff Saunders came up. I see you got him out again in May. How did that event go for you?
Yeah, I mean, we had, after the Fight Pass show, I mean, we were robbed of allowing Jeff to make his debut on that show, which was, it wasn't catastrophic for the show. It was disappointing from our perspective because we were hoping to give him the debut. But unfortunately, due to a minor piece of paperwork not getting through the board in time, we were robbed of that opportunity. What it did mean is, everything happens for a reason. I'm a great believer in that. Bradley Saunders was obviously set to fight Dave Ryan for a Commonwealth title on the big Matchroom show in April at the Newcastle Metro Radio Arena. But unfortunately, due to injury, Bradley had to pull off. And what it meant was that it was a ready-made replacement in Jeff Saunders, the younger Saunders, brother, to make his debut on the big arena show. So that couldn't have worked out any better. And it meant as well that, those people who, would normally have paid the money to go and see Bradley fight, didn't want refunds on the tickets and ended up paying to see Jeff make his debut. And he made a stunning debut in April at the Metro Radio Arena with a first round knockout.
Yeah,
I was sitting next to Eddie Hearn at ringside for that, and he was just amazed at the kid's technical ability. And Jeff's a little bit different to Bradley. Both talented fighters, but both very, very different fighters. And he announced himself on not just on the local stage that night, but on the world stage as well. And got a little bit of coverage on Sky, and I'm sure there's big things to come from with regards to Jeff. And then we managed to get him out again in May. Yeah. We had him on at the dinner show in Gateshead again. It was just a simple dinner show with three fights that we had on. And it was great. I mean, he had again a first round stoppage. It was a hand-picked opponent from abroad because he's just learning the game. He's come from the amateurs, but the kid had a decent track record, and Jeff got into the win under his belt. So he'll be next on a Matchroom show coming up in July. I think he's fighting on the big arena show in July. I think it's the week before my next show, so it's around about the 18th in Manchester. And that'll be Jeff's next fight. So he's been out in Spain getting a little bit of R&R, and then he's straight into the gym with Bradley out in Spain and back into training. So it's a busy time for young Jeff, and he's just announced he's going to become a dad as well. So exciting times for the young man.
Brilliant. Well, funny enough, we were just sort of coming on to my next point there. You were talking about your you got when's the big Matchroom show?
Well, we obviously had the big Matchroom debut in April, which was Anthony Joshua, and we put together a decent undercard for that. Our job with Matchroom is freelancing really in the northeast to pull together a decent local undercard, which we did. It was with Bradley pulling off. Obviously, we managed to get Jeff Saunders on there, but a fighter who I touched on the last time we spoke was young Anthony Nelson. He fought Terry Broadbent for the English title down in South Shields on a night that I'll certainly never forget. But when Bradley's Commonwealth title shot disappeared through injury, Eddie was on the phone asking, what other options do we have up there? Is there an opportunity? Is there somebody who is ready to take that next step? And the first name on the end of my tongue was Anthony Nelson, and obviously with Nelson's rematch against Broadbent, being called off due to an injury at Broadbent side.
Yeah.
And it was a natural progression for young Anthony, and a Commonwealth title became available against Jamie Smith. And again, just a fantastic fight. I mean, Nelson is a great ticket seller, but he's an entertaining fighter. He's fit, strong, but he's also very entertaining. Jamie, is no mug. Again, it was something which I think, people found the two fighters hard to split before they went in, but Nelson, had done his preparation and deservedly won that Commonwealth title. It was fantastic to see, great performance. And to hear already here at the end of the night on Sky say that this big thing, that he's expecting big things from Nelson.
Yeah, he was actually.
In the future, it can only be good. So yeah, I mean, there were some other notable performances. Lewis Ritson made his pro debut, of course, on that show as well. Jordan King, the Sunderland fighter, he also did well on the show. So it was plenty of ticks in the boxes, and of course the two big fights that most people in the North East were interested in were John Lewis Dickinson and Travis Dickinson, and both fighters fought on that card, but it was mixed fortunes. And John Lewis Dickinson, by his own admission, was in the last chance saloon after having two defeats in a row, and it was a tough fight for him against Steve Simmons.
Yeah.
But he came good. He put the time in the gym. And Simmons thought he just had to turn up to win that fight, I think, but left on his hands and knees. And for Dickinson, it was a fantastic win and puts him back in contention. And certainly now on the Matchroom stage gives him an opportunity to really shine in that division. Travis Dickinson, unfortunately, just got caught with a sucker punch.
Yeah.
Indoors, and he has that kind of reputation, Travis. He goes in and he's frightened of no man, but unfortunately he left himself open that night and he came a cropper. But the good thing about Travis is he bounces back quite quickly, and I mean the next morning, his Facebook page was full of pictures of him sitting with a baby's helmet on, a baby's bike helmet on, saying this is what I should have worn last night. So it didn't take him long to recover from the defeat, and we've got Travis topping our bill, of course, on our forthcoming show, the Relentless Promotion show on the 24th of July in Gateshead.
Yeah, so I was going to talk a little bit more about that actually. So what we've got coming up? We've got this show coming up in July, and then we've got another big Matchroom show as well. So we've got a lot going on in the North East coming up.
Yeah, I mean the 24th of July sees us make our first foray into summer boxing. We've never done that. It's my third. This will be my third year as a promoter. I'm up to 11 shows now, and this will be my first attempt at doing a big summer show, an end of season show, if you like. So it's called the Summer Showdown. It's the first one of its kind. We're doing it at a new venue in the North East, which is the Academy for Sport, which is attached to Gateshead International Stadium, which a lot of people around the UK know for either athletics or for where Gateshead Football Club play, or for where various concerts have happened. Tina Turner's played there, Guns N' Roses, to name but a couple. So it's a fantastic venue. It's made for sport, and this Academy for Sport is part of Gateshead College's building next door to it. It's purpose-built for sport. It's got an indoor running track, but it's essentially it holds in the region of 1,200. So it's ideal for boxing. The Northern Area Boxing Board of Control have come down and given it the once-over, and they really like it. So it's all systems go on that. And we've announced 7 fights so far. Travis Dickinson needs to get back out there before Matchroom come back up in the autumn. So Travis is going to have a warm-up fight on this bill. But then we've also got the other fighting chance lads, Lewis Scott, Andrew Buchanan, and Paul O'Hagan fighting on the show. They've confirmed. We've got a couple from the Cope Gym down in Hartlepool. We have Liam Cammack and Hardy. And Hardy obviously still unbeaten, and Liam just really starting out on his career. Saw him boxing in Hartlepool a few weeks back, very impressed with him. And Mal Gates has got a fight on there as well, Tom Whitfield. He's again another up-and-coming promising young Gateshead fighter. Unfortunately couldn't fight on our Fight Pass show, so he's back in the gym now and raring to go. So we're looking at those all confirmed, but we're also looking at maybe 3 or 4 others as well. Mark Closel's coming back to us with a couple of fighters. and I believe the Fighting Chance have got another couple of debutants as well. So hoping to have about 10 fights on that show. Tickets already on sale from wraithpromotions.com at £35. So yeah, it promises to be a really exciting Friday night of boxing on Tyneside again, and everybody putting themselves in the shop window, because as you rightly say, we will have Eddie Hearn back up here in the autumn, probably October, more than likely. They'll be coming back to the arena after selling the arena out on the Joshua show, and then hopefully another Fight Pass show towards Christmas, November, December, which will again give us a chance to showcase local talent on the Matchroom Fight Pass channel.
So it really sounds like Matchroom being involved in the North East, it seems to have kind of spurred things on a little bit.
It has, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt though that Phil Jeffries is still very much making waves up here as well. He was the man who lit the blue touch paper 8-9 years ago in Sunderland, and through back in his son Tony Jeffries, and Phil is still very, very active. I was down at Hartlepool at the Borough Hall a couple of weeks ago to see Phil's show, which he put on with Dave Garside and Neil Fannin, and there were some great fights on there. So with regards to Phil, he's also got a Summer Rumble happening at the start of July at the Stadium of Light, which is his annual summer show. So there's plenty of opportunities for the pro fighters to get out and about in the North East. And Glenfoot is obviously managed by Phil Jeffries. Yeah. He's got a big chance on the Matchroom show, fighting Sam Eggington soon. So depending on how that goes, may see Glenfoot defending or going for a bigger title on the autumn show. You never know. So plenty of crossover, plenty of co-promotions, and plenty of work between the different promoters. We all communicate up here, which is good. And we might be working with Matchroom full time, but at the end of the day, it still doesn't mean that the other fighters and the other promoters can't get involved with Matchroom as well. It's an open door policy by Eddie, but we help them pull the undercard together. So the communication between us and everybody up here is very important.
Excellent, mate. Well, it all sounds very healthy. It sounds like you're really trying to do things the right way out there.
You've got to. I mean, it's a healthy boxing scene at the moment. I'm looking to take my manager's license out in the next couple of months because the rules and regulations stipulate that you must hold a license in a different category for 3 years. I've been unable to do that, but there is the opportunity for me to register as a manager now, and it's something I'm definitely going to look at. And it always gives a fighter another option, because sometimes fighters go from manager to manager until they find the right one, and what we don't want is we don't want the talent slipping through the net and out of the North East. And for me, with us working with Matchroom on a regular basis, then there's no reason for that to happen. We can still manage a fighter and get him to a certain level, and maybe beyond. And I think you just need to look at the likes of James DeGale, Carol Brook, George Groves. You look at these fighters coming through, and there's fighters who can basically compete at that level coming from the North East, and it would be better for them to be in the North East and not have to go further afield. And there's great gyms, there's great trainers up this neck of the woods. So now that there's a thriving boxing scene, there isn't any reason for these fighters to go further afield to apply that trade and to learn that trade.
Good. It all sounds really promising. Like it's nice to catch up with people a few months down the line, and it's still progressive. So all very exciting, mate. Well, it's been amazing having you on. Get so much great information off you as always, Steve. So thanks so much for that. We'll catch up with you again further down the line, or if you've got any news. And once again,
that would be great, and just keep up the good work, because without people like yourself, doing these kind of shows, then it's difficult getting the word out, nationally. Obviously when we get onto things like Fight Pass, or we're lucky enough to do the undercard on one of these big shows, people get a chance to see who we are. But it's important that people like yourself cover the fight game, because real fight fans do listen to this kind of show, and it's always good to to get people's feedback and just to get the word out there. So thanks for the opportunity.
No, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.